It's a growth in a woman's uterus.
Today is the first time I'm hearing about it. If we get married and you never had it, and then in the process of us
being together
you have it, I would definitely support you. Does it kill people?
Yes!
But there's no cure, but have people actually been healed?
What do you think could also be an issue as to why ladies of these days cannot conceive? Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to today's video. I am Melinda Swan, and over here with me is...
Can't be black.
What are you doing here? Read my finish it before you talk. So I'm over here with...
Can't be black.
Okay, and today we're going to be reviewing this video over here. She is a Nigerian actress. I don't know if you've seen her in some movies. She's acted in Blood Sisters with alongside with Nancy.
I think I know her.
So she's sharing a very
just Nigerian movie.
It's okay, we get it. So she's sharing a very important story of her life, very personal story, and I want us to listen to what she's saying and then share our thoughts and all of that.
I want to share something important with you today. So if you've been following me, you probably know that towards the end of 2020 I had a myomectomy, which is an invasive surgery to take out fibroids. The surgery was successful. My doctor took out every single fibroid. I healed well. It's been 3 years in the surgery, but unfortunately the fibroids are back.
Damn.
Yep.
Which obviously is very disheartening. It hasn't been like the easiest couple of months, but I'm okay. I've come to terms with it. I definitely don't want to do another surgery anytime soon. So this time I want to take a holistic approach in shrinking the fibroids backed by faith. So yeah, I just thought that it was important to share. Obviously it's not easy to talk about. Like honestly, I went back and forth on whether or not I should, but I just remember the first time I shared my story and how impactful it was. So many women felt seen, so many girls felt seen, so many people shared their story with me, so many people shared their stories publicly, and the stats of this thing, too many women, especially Black women, go through it, and I just feel like it wasn't being talked about enough. It's still not being talked about enough. I don't even know if enough is being done to find like a real remedy for it.
It's not really being talked
I'm
about
going to be paying for 20 women to get their screening done. Guys, it's very important to check. I know that there are different reasons people might not check. Things are very hard financially right now. Some people are even ignorant about it. Some are putting it off because they don't want to hear like the bad news, and I can absolutely relate, because I remember the first time I found out I had fibroids in 2017. But prior to that, I was experiencing serious symptoms, but I was ignorant. As crazy as it sounds, I'd never heard about fibroids. And then one day I just spoke to my sister about it, and she's like, you're gonna need to check for this. And I was like, hey, good. I check. We all know how that story went down. And then even this time I started to have symptoms again, and I was like, this thing cannot be back. So I put it off, but eventually I checked, and here we are. I will be paying for 20 women to get their scans done. My hope will be that one day there'll be a cure, but until then, I think it's very important that we just try our best to be supportive to each other, be a shoulder to cry on if need be. I will share my journey with you guys on what I'm taking, what is working, what is not. So please, if you have any tips, share with me. If you've been through this where maybe you had the surgery, invasive or non-invasive, and it came back, please share with me. If somehow you were able to shrink it, please share with me. If you're going through this and you don't even know what to do, or you know what to do, just whatever it is, I think it's very important that we share our stories. I would also be sharing a lot of information there, for example, how to get the free scans, and I'll also be sharing it on my newsletter on my website, so please make sure you join. My heart goes out to every single person going through this, whether it be fibroids or PCOS or hormonal imbalance or endometriosis, the list goes on. I hope that one day we can find like a true remedy But until then, we will do what we can to support each other.
So before we even start saying anything, sharing our thoughts or whatsoever, we are coming from a place of experience, either by someone who has had it, someone we know who knows another person who has had it. We don't have any, what's it called, scientific backup. We're not doctors or anything to, you know.
I don't even know what it is. What's a fibroid?
All right. So this is my own understanding of it, right? It's
You better be correct or
where,
else you get dragged.
hold on. It's a growth in a woman's uterus. So it could be one or it could be several of them. They don't make a womb healthy to host a baby. Yes, and they grow. They can grow bigger, and you think that you're actually pregnant, whereas there's nothing there, and it hurts. It can cause you to bleed for years.
Bigger, like you actually get bigger as if you're pregnant.
Yes, it has symptoms and everything, but I don't quite get where it comes from. Some people's own just starts growing like that, you know.
Well, I believe. Well, I don't really love talking about this type of things, but I believe when people say we don't know where something comes from, to me, it'll always come from somewhere in your system. I don't know, maybe you ate, it's an example, not like maybe you ate one thing just a little bit more than people mixed with this other thing, they ate a bit with this other, like science is crazy. Even from the way the lady was speaking, I feel like I'm sorry, I don't know her name, she seems very hurt and has decided to share her story and to help people who are going through the same thing, which is something that would positively impact the society if everybody who is going through something comes out and says, okay, like I'm going through this and I really want to help bring or
build a community
spread the knowledge
around,
about, because today is the first time hearing about it.
Okay.
Fibroids. So
I'll involve you in the process.
I thought it was another version of androids. So she said there is no cure for it yet.
First of all, I want to applaud her for coming out to speak on something personal, because again, we live in a digital era, and according to me, I don't really think that some personal things like that should be put on social media. You know, she might have her reasons as to which she has explained as to why she's doing that, but at the same time, people on social media don't have hearts, because when they want to drag you and when they want to make you feel less of a person, they will drag you even with the personal information that you shared with them, which could help several people, your brothers, your sisters, depending on the situation.
It's a bold step for her to come online, definitely, because you say it's the Nigerian space alone, Nigerian media, just a minute behind you.
Right, look at how they are dragging Sharon Oja for, first of all, putting out a video of her engagement. We did not see the man's face. Then later on, we saw the man. Story started coming out that this is the third time the man is getting married. Then this story that this actress is sharing with us, as personal as it is, I really fear social media, because the story will just turn around. It will become, and she had a very beautiful, but she's married. She has a she had a very beautiful marriage. She has a very loving husband based on what we see online, because we are not in their homes again. Now this is the part where I say, you as a man, you come in. How will you feel if you get married to a lady and she's going through that situation and it causes it doesn't make her,
I mean, it really for example, like it really depends on the situation for me, because if we get married and you never had it, and then in the process of us being together you have it, I would definitely support you. You get?
Okay, so if you had it before,
if you had it before, and you never told me, I don't know if you get.
Before we met?
Yes.
Okay.
And you never told me, and then I get into it, and then I see that you have it. It means you, first of all, you're a wicked person. Because one thing about me is I'll let the lady know straight up, I want kids. You get?
Who no wants?
Like, no, I'll let the lady know. Because you know the world now is very strange. There are now people saying, "Oh, me, I don't want me picking on."
I know.
So if I tell you I want kids, and then you lead me into a marriage, and then you come and later tell me, "Oh, for 8 years I've had it." Like for 8 years you've had it, then why were we partners? So at that point in time, I'm sorry, I'll leave you. But if you had it while we were together, or maybe it started maybe while we were dating, and then you tell me like, okay, like this is what is happening, it's like that, it's like that, and I get into it, it means I've made a conscious decision to be with you for it. You get? So I stay with you. But if you had it earlier and then you hid it, Madam.
There was a part of the video where she said there's no cure, and she's taking a holistic approach to actually get them shrinked. This reminded me of a very close family member of ours, and we realized 5 years later that she has fibroids. So when she had it before, she didn't communicate to anyone.
Oh, but she knew.
Yeah, she knew that something was wrong. Yeah, but then when you're living with people, you're under their roofs, you don't get to share with them that this is what I'm having, this is what I'm facing, so I'm going through. Every lady has their own menstrual cycle and everything, but this fibroids will cause you to bleed longer than expected, and you start feeling pains.
Does it kill people?
Yes. I say it grows, it hot, it's strong. You really feel that there's something strong there.
The thing is, there are certain things in this world I don't understand, that they don't have cures. Like for example, something like that. It's something growing inside of somebody,
and it's hanging on your.
Have a cure for it.
Mama or papa, we got to the hospital. Because normally when you don't have a child, it's risky for you to go and start doing operations not freezing, like to take out the fibroids, because it's like wounding your uterus. When they are taking it out, they're wounding your uterus, and you don't need wounds, especially if you have several of them. You don't need wounds there to accommodate a baby, all of that. So they used the shrinking method for her. We know these people that have that sell these traditional medicines in jugs. Mama, we bought traditional drugs, those drugs onto it was, and then we want to go and do scan in the hospital. The things are not shaking. They will tell you that one has reduced, the other one is increasing, one has increased, the other one is like this, like that. She ended up finally going for an operation, and all of them were taken out. But at this point, I don't know whether she has been able to, conceive.
The thing about traditional medicine is, especially for us in Africa, traditional medicine was authentic when our grandparents were young, like when our grandparents were our age. That's when they'll tell you, maybe this thing doesn't have a cure. You come to the house, your mother gives you something to drink. Or even I remember when I was younger, if you have something like malaria, which is not a common disease in places like the US and all, but if you have something like malaria, you come back home, they give you a cup of traditional medicine. You're strong the next day, like.
Or they put you in this, there's this pot thing.
Where they cover you with a blanket and they boil some.
That thing really works.
It works. The world is now full of frauds. Like everybody is trying to make an extra cent, an extra dollar, an extra franc, an extra naira, an extra rand. So people are definitely going to do things to make extra money. For example, you see what she took. It might be something that worked. Right, because some shrunk and then some got bigger. Then maybe he took it now, added water in it to make it more bottles. That's what caused some to shrink and some way. So it's just very, very complicated. And the same thing applies to the church. Like she said, she was going to take a holistic approach. I pray she really finds a true man of God.
No, I don't even think those parts are necessary. There's no man of God. Just get to God directly.
No, the thing is, no, it's true, get to God, but even the Bible says, like, you need an intermediary. It's necessary, right? Okay. So she has decided to take an intermediary, and it's true, God is your father, you can talk to him directly. She has decided to take an intermediary, but what I wish for her is she finds an actual man of God, because even the Bible has said it, that there are a lot of fakes now. There are a lot of fakes. I don't want her to get into something. I mean, she's really going through a lot. I don't want her to get into something again that is going to come and be like, oh, I gave this man millions of nairas, and then now nothing is happening. He has done this, he has done that. Because believe me, the pastors now are so cunning. They are real ones, so they are real ones. I'm not saying all are, but some are really very, like, they would take from the poorest of people to better themselves, especially when they see that you really need something. That's something they really prey on, which, forgive me, most times happens to women, because women are like, oh, this
my
thing,
father, my dad,
oh yeah, and they are cooking, and but
that's a whole different topic.
I really pray she gets healed, because it's not even about the fact that she's famous, but there are a lot of other people that don't have the audience she has, and maybe have only their neighbors to talk to, and maybe their neighbors are they bashing them. Oh, come off, yeah, but they don't get rotten, that kind of, like, it's hard. It's definitely hard. So I wish
there's something I wanted to talk
about. Healing. She finds a good man of God, and the fibroid. But there's no cure, but have people actually been healed?
There are some people who underwent operations and came out successfully. Her case was different because the fibroids came back. Massa, it's just...
We never know. But when the fibroids, when they wound your womb to remove the things, right? After they have removed it, do the wounds heal with time?
That's the thing. I
Or do
honestly
they just, because if they heal with time, I would suggest she goes for round 2. While taking the holistic approach, I would suggest she goes for round 2 while taking the holistic approach, because you never know. Maybe your first time was not so. I'm just saying, maybe you're not even supposed to do it twice. I don't know.
And as if you decide to get pregnant during that process, some people feel like, okay, if the fibroid has started growing, let me have my children now, so that whatsoever it doesn't
That's
affect.
risky, yeah.
Very risky, because as the child is growing, the fibroid too is growing, and the fibroid is there inconveniencing. It's like living in a house with a bomb.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, do you really think it's necessary to put out your information like that?
It depends.
I just feel like,
depends.
because social media,
it depends, and it depends, and it's for a good cause, especially if it's for a good cause. For example, in Hollywood, people were always talking about how women were being sexually assaulted and are treated sexually, but it was not spoken about for men,
right? And it's still not spoken about that much for men.
Terry Crews came up and said that even him has been sexually harassed.
Who, Chris is that?
Yeah.
Everybody hates Chris.
Yeah, everybody hates Chris. So you see, it's things like that. People mock him, like, oh, the kind man. Or when Michael Jordan cried, people always mock them, laugh at them, but
because they have been conditioned to be the stronger ones and all that, but they have emotions.
It's sending out a message. To me, I think it's necessary to put out those type of things on social media, because you don't know who is watching. She might put out that video and somebody says, man, it's like there's this special doctor in, I don't know, Taiwan.
Yeah, that can help.
That helps. Like, he has a 100% success rate. Go to him, he'll get sorted out. But if you stay confined to you and your environment, like, that's really limiting. That's why they say problem shared is half solved. Except if you stole, the police will solve it for you.
Why am I leaning on you there? So at the end of the day, I really want to applaud Inidima for her courage, despite the fact that we're living in a very crazy era now. She had the courage to, she mustered the courage to, share her personal experiences with people and give them hope and all of that. And I pray at the end of the day, there's a cure that is being found to, help ladies and better the fertility rate and all of that. Yeah. And
the ladies too should help themselves.
Okay.
That's now I'm talking about the Gen Z moms and the baddies.
Okay.
So you're not going to live a reckless life. I'm not talking about the fibroid. You don't get that. Yeah. So I'm saying you not get to live a reckless life, and at the end of the day, be like, no, they need to do our fertility rate. Our fertility rate is dropping. It's going down. Our fertility. Nah, blame yourself.
And this is the time when, if you didn't know about God before,
you better know him now.
Not because you need him to save you or anything, but because you actually see the necessity to have him in your life. Alright, I'm going to be... Were we boring?
Nah, I'm just tired.
We've come to the end of this video, and we're going to be seeing you guys on the next video, right?
Right.
What do you think could also be an issue as to why ladies of these days cannot conceive?